In the year 2984, the galaxy was not what it used to be. Long ago, ships had flown fast between stars. Worlds had been bright and full of life. But now many systems had gone dark. Ships drifted without power. Space stations stood silent, like floating graves. On the edge of the Milky Way, near a dying red star, was a place called Orion Prime. It was the heart of the Galactic Council. From here, leaders ruled the galaxy. But even here, the lights flickered. Engines hummed weaker than before. The galaxy was falling apart, but the council told people to stay calm. Alex Voss knew better. He stood in Dock Bay 47, checking the small data chip in his hand. It was marked Priority Delivery, Level Red. Alex was a data runner. He carried important information between planets. Most days it was boring work, but this chip felt different. His client had sounded nervous. "Get it to dock room Theta 12, the client had whispered. No questions. Alex had been running data for over 10 years. He had learned one thing. People lie when they are afraid. He slipped the chip into his jacket and walked toward the delivery zone. The dock was cold and half-lit. Workers moved quietly. No one wanted to draw attention. Ships hung in the air, lifeless, waiting for parts that never came. Alex moved past them, his boots making soft sounds on the steel floor. He reached room Theta 12. It was empty, except for a small table. Alex placed the chip on the table, but something made him stop. The chip blinked softly. It wasn't locked. That was strange. Red-level data was always sealed tight. Curiosity pulled at him. He knew it was risky. He could lose his job, or worse. But something told him to look. He pulled out his portable scanner and connected it to the chip. At first, nothing happened. Just a blank screen. Then, lines of old human text appeared. Alex's heart skipped. Humans had been gone for over 100 years. No one knew why they left. The council had called them selfish, claiming they didn't care about the rest of the galaxy. But here, on this chip, was a message. It was short, but it made Alex's skin go cold. This is not your galaxy anymore. The collapse has started. We warned you. You did not listen. We walked away to survive. Now, you will face what we could not stop. Alex read it again. And again. The words stayed the same. He checked the data stamp. It was real, dated over a century ago. He leaned back, trying to think. Why would someone send this now? Why had the council never told anyone? The message sounded like a warning. A big one. He closed the scanner and slipped the chip back into his jacket. This delivery was no longer just a job. It was the start of something much bigger. Alex knew one thing. He had to find out the truth. And the truth started with the council. Alex Voss left dock room Theta 12 with a heavy mind. His heart beat faster with every step. The words from the old human message kept playing in his head. We warned you. You did not listen. The collapse has started. He knew he couldn't go back to his ship yet. Someone had sent that ship for a reason. Someone had brought that message back after 100 years. He had to know who and why. Alex headed to the lower data vaults of Orion Prime. The public never went down there. Only data runners, tech workers, and council officers had access. Alex had worked here long enough to know the security was weak if you moved carefully. He walked past the first security post like it was just another job. The guard didn't even look up. Alex made his way down 3 levels to Data Sector 9. Here, thousands of old records sat untouched. The council didn't care about old files anymore. They had new problems. Systems were breaking down. Worlds were losing power. But Alex knew the past held answers. He slipped into one of the side rooms. The door hissed softly as it closed behind him. The room was small and dark. A single terminal stood in the center. Alex sat down and plugged in a scanner. He entered a search. Keyword: the collapse. At first, nothing came up. He changed the search to human departure. One file appeared. It was locked. Council-level access only. Alex knew this was dangerous, but he had come too far to stop now. He used an old bypass code he had learned years ago from another runner. The terminal paused, then unlocked the file. The document was short but clear. Project Void Plague, Council Class Red File. In 2872, human scientists warned the Council of a spreading dark energy in deep space. They called it the Void Plague. The Council ignored the warnings, believing humans were trying to gain power. In 2880, humans withdrew from the Council and left the known galaxy. They claimed the Council had doomed all life by not stopping the plague when there was still time. The Council declared the human claims false and banned all mention of Project Void Plague. Alex sat back, stunned. So the Council had known. They had lied. They had hidden the truth. He searched again, this time for names. One stood out. Chancellor Drex Vor, lead counselor on Project Void Plague, 2872. Drex Vor. He had been part of it since the beginning. Alex felt the pieces start to fit. Drex had silenced the humans. He had erased the records. And now, systems were failing, just like the humans had warned. He leaned closer to the screen. There was one more part. Known human contact. Rhea Quinn, lead human scientist, last seen in Sol System, Earth Research Station 7. Alex's heart jumped. A human was still alive. Before he could process more, the terminal screen turned red. Unauthorized access detected. Alex's blood ran cold. Someone had noticed. He grabbed his scanner, disconnected it fast, and slipped out of the room. He kept his head down as he walked back to the dock levels. His mind raced. He had two choices: hide and forget everything, or find Rhea Quinn and uncover the full truth. For Alex, there was no choice at all. He was going after the last human. Alex Voss moved quickly through the lower halls of Orion Prime. His breath felt tight in his chest. The warning on the terminal had not been fake. The Council knew someone had touched the locked file. They would come looking soon. He kept his head low as he passed workers and guards. He had to reach Dock Bay 47 and get off this station. Rhea Quinn was his only lead, and Earth was far from here. As he turned a corner, two Council soldiers in dark gray armor stepped into view. They stood blocking the hallway. One of them lifted a scanner. It beeped twice. They started walking toward him. Alex turned around quickly. He walked fast, but didn't run. If he ran, they would chase. He knew these halls better than most. He took a side path into the cargo tunnels. His boots echoed on the metal floor. His heart pounded. He glanced over his shoulder. More soldiers were entering the tunnels behind him. They were tracking him. Alex broke into a run. He weaved between crates and old engine parts. He needed to lose them. The only way was to reach the old lift shaft that connected to the maintenance levels. Most people avoided that place. It was broken and unsafe. But Alex had used it before. He dashed through the tunnel and saw the shaft door ahead. He forced it open and slipped inside. The lift was gone. Only cables hung in the dark. He didn't think twice. He grabbed the cable and slid down, his gloves burning from the heat of the metal. He landed hard at the bottom, rolling onto the floor. He heard voices above him. Soldiers had reached the door. They were coming down next. Alex sprinted through the lower tunnels. These areas were empty. No guards, no workers, just old machines humming softly in the dark. Finally, he reached Dock Bay 47. His ship, the Gray Wing, was still there, small but fast. He ran to the ramp and punched in the unlock code. The ramp hissed open. Alex, a voice stopped him cold. He turned and saw Mara, another data runner. She was leaning against a crate, arms crossed. She looked worried. I saw the soldiers after you, she whispered. What did you do? Alex looked around. No time to explain. Mara, I need to leave. Now. The Council is hiding something big. I have to get to Earth. Mara's face changed. She had heard the rumors too. She had always warned Alex to stay out of Council business. But now, something in her eyes told him she believed him. She walked to him and handed over a small black key. You'll need this, she said. It's a Council access key. It will open most gates between here and Sol. Take it and go. Alex took the key. He didn't know why she had it, but there was no time to ask. He nodded. Thank you, he said softly. She stepped back. Good luck, Alex. And be careful. Drex doesn't forgive. Alex rushed up the ramp and closed the door. He jumped into the pilot's seat. His hands moved fast over the controls. The engines hummed to life. Council soldiers burst into the bay. They pointed their weapons at the ship. Alex hit the thrusters. The Gray Wing lifted off the ground. Blaster shots hit the side of the ship, but the shields held. He turned the ship toward the docking gate. Come on open, he muttered. He pulled out Mara's key and slid it into the ship's console. The docking gate lights turned green. The gate opened just enough for the ship to pass. The gray wing shot out into open space. Alarms rang across Orion Prime. Ships moved to block him, but he was faster. He twisted the ship through the broken satellite field and punched in the jump code. Destination: Sol System, Earth Station 7. As the stars stretched into lines, Alex leaned back and took a deep breath. He had made it, but he knew this was only the beginning. He was now a hunted man, and the truth waited on a broken world far from here. The gray wing dropped out of jump speed near the old Sol System. Alex stared at the dark space ahead. Once this system had been full of life. Earth had been home to billions of people. Now it was empty, silent, dead. The planets hung like ghosts in the dark. No lights, no signals. The only thing left was Earth Station 7, a small research base floating above the ruined planet. Alex flew closer. The station looked broken. Panels hung loose. Lights flickered dimly. No ships were docked. No life signs showed on his scanners. But Rhea Quinn had been listed here. It was his only hope. He guided the ship to the docking port and locked the clamps. He grabbed his jacket, checked his scanner, and opened the airlock. The station's air smelled old and dry. It felt like no one had walked these halls for years. Still, he moved forward. The lights above buzzed weakly. Dust floated in the air. He passed empty labs and broken control rooms. The walls were covered in old human writing, warning signs, research notes, power levels, all reading 0. Then he heard something, a soft sound like metal moving. Alex froze. He held his breath and listened. The sound came again, closer this time. He followed it, step by step, through the halls. His scanner beeped once. A life sign. He turned a corner and stopped. A figure stood at the end of the hallway. A woman. Gray hair, thin face, old but alert. She held a small tool in one hand like a weapon. "Stop right there," she said in a dry, rough voice. Alex raised his hand slowly. "Rhea Quinn?" he asked. She narrowed her eyes. "Who's asking? My name is Alex Voss. I'm a data runner. But I found something. A message. Your message." Her face changed. Fear and shock at the same time. "Prove it," she said. Alex slowly pulled the chip from his jacket and showed it to her. She stared at it for a long moment, then lowered her hand. "Come with me," she said. She led him into a small control room. The screens were still working, showing old data about the galaxy. She sat down in a chair, looking tired. "How did you find it?" she asked. Alex explained everything. Orion Prime, the data vault, the soldiers, the Council's lies. Rhea listened without speaking. When he finished, she let out a long breath. "So they still hide the truth," she whispered. "What truth?" Alex asked. "What really happened?" Rhea looked at him with tired eyes. "We warned them. Long ago, we found the void plague at the edge of the galaxy. A dark energy, alive and spreading. We begged the Council to stop using jump gates. They only made it worse. But they didn't listen. They called us liars." Alex leaned forward. "So you left?" She nodded. "We left to survive. We shut down our systems, left the Council behind, and hoped the plague would stop without more jump gate travel. But it didn't." "Is it still spreading?" Alex asked. "Yes," Rhea whispered, "and faster than ever." Alex felt a chill run through him. "But there's more," Rhea added. "We found a way to stop it, just before we left. But the Council banned all human tech. We couldn't share it." Alex felt hope rising. "You have a way to stop the collapse." She nodded again. "But we need the galaxy to hear the truth first. The Council must step down." Alex stood up, ready to move. "Then let's go back to Orion Prime and tell them." Rhea gave a small smile, the first real one he had seen. "It won't be easy," she said. "Drex will stop us if he can." Alex nodded. Let him try. He knew the risk. He knew the danger. But the truth was bigger than fear. He and Rhea packed what they needed. Data files, old tech, and the full records of the Void Plague. They boarded the Gray Wing and set the course back to Orion Prime. The galaxy had been lied to long enough. It was time to end it. Alex Voss sat in the pilot's seat of the Gray Wing, staring at the dark screen in front of him. His ship floated just beyond the border of Orion Prime's sensor range. Inside the ship, Rhea Quinn stood behind him, holding a small black case close to her chest. It held the answer to saving the galaxy. Alex took a deep breath and checked the flight path again. Breaking into Orion Prime was not going to be easy. The Council had tight security. The station was surrounded by patrol ships and scanners. Any wrong move, and they would be shot down before they got close. Are you sure this data will convince the Council? Alex asked quietly. Rhea placed her hand on the chair. Not just the Council, the whole galaxy. Once the broadcast starts, every system, every ship, every world will hear the truth. Alex nodded. That was the plan. Reach this central broadcast tower in the Council chambers. Upload the files. Send the message to everyone. If they failed, they would not get a second chance. He activated the engine. The ship moved slowly toward Orion Prime. He kept the ship dark. No lights, no signals. Just a silent drift toward the giant station. Rhea watched the screen with sharp eyes. There, she whispered. The east docking ring. It's less guarded. Alex adjusted the course. His hands gripped the controls tight. He knew this part of the station. There were old service tunnels near the east ring. If they could reach them, they could slip inside without setting off alarms. But as they neared the docking ring, red lights flashed on the screen. Patrol ship dead ahead, Alex said. The Council ship turned toward them. Its weapons powered up. They've seen us, Rhea said, her voice calm but tense. Alex hit the thrusters. The gray wing jumped forward. The Council ship fired, but the shots missed. Alex weaved the ship through broken satellite parts floating around the station. Sparks flew as metal scraped the ship's sides. Hold on, Alex shouted. He pushed the engines to full power and aimed for the east ring. The docking gate was locked, but he had Mara's Council key. He slid it into the console. The gate lights blinked red, then green. The docking clamps grabbed the ship. We're in, Alex yelled. He and Rhea grabbed the case and rushed to the airlock. The ship shook as more shots hit the docking ring. They didn't have much time. The airlock opened. They ran into the service tunnel. It was dark and narrow. The floor shook as the Council ships kept firing on the dock. But they kept moving. Left, Rhea said, leading the way. The tower is this way. Alex followed, heart pounding. He knew soldiers would be on their trail soon. They reached a large door. It led to the lower levels of the Council chambers. Rhea placed her hand on the scanner. The door hissed open. Inside, the halls were empty. The Council was likely in a meeting. That worked in their favor. We go up 3 levels, Rhea whispered. The broadcast core is at the top. They climbed the stairs fast and quiet. When they reached the top, they stopped. 2 guards stood at the door to the tower. Rhea looked at Alex. I'll distract them, she said softly. No, Alex whispered back. We stay together. But Rhea had already stepped into the hall. She raised her hands. The guards raised their weapons. Stop. You're under arrest, one of them shouted. Alex saw his chance. While the guards focused on Rhea, he slipped behind them and knocked them out with a shock baton he had hidden in his jacket. Rhea turned to him, breathing hard. You're not bad at this. Alex gave a quick smile. Let's finish it. They pushed open the tower door. Inside, the central broadcast console waited. It hummed softly, still active. This was the heart of the Council's control. From here, they could speak to every world in the galaxy. Rhea placed the black case on the console and opened it. Inside were data drives holding the full record of the Void Plague, the Council's lies, and the solution to stop the collapse. Alex watched as she connected the drives and began the upload. Outside the tower, alarms started to ring. Soldiers were coming. Alex grabbed his blaster and aimed at the door. Keep going, he said. I'll hold them off. Rhea nodded and worked faster. The console screen showed the data uploading. 20%, 40%, 60%. Blaster fire hit the door. The locks started to break. 80%, 90%, 95%. The door burst open. Drex Vor himself stood there, his face dark with anger. Soldiers stood behind him. Step away from the console. Drex shouted. Alex stood between Drex and Rhea, blaster ready. No, Alex said. The galaxy deserves to know. Drex raised his hand. You don't understand what you're doing. You'll bring chaos. Rhea stepped beside Alex. You already brought chaos. We're bringing the truth. The console beeped. Upload complete. The message began to play across every screen in the galaxy. Ria's voice filled the air, telling the true story of the Void Plague, the Council's lies, and the way to save the galaxy. Drex stood frozen. His power was gone. His lies were over. Alex lowered his blaster. He and Ria had done it. But the fight was not over yet. They had started something much bigger. And the galaxy was finally listening. Alex Voss stood still as Ria's voice echoed through the tower speakers. The truth was now out. Every planet, station, and ship in the galaxy had heard the broadcast. It told the full story, how the Council ignored the human warnings, how they let the Void Plague spread, and how they covered it up. But Drexvor was still standing in front of them. His face had gone pale with rage, but his voice stayed calm. "You've caused panic," Drex said. "You've made billions afraid. Do you think you're a hero?" Alex kept his blaster pointed at the soldiers standing behind Drex. "I don't care what you think," Alex said. "The people deserve the truth. You stole their future." Drex took a step forward. "You know nothing," Drex hissed. "You're just a runner, a criminal. You have no idea how to lead." Ria stepped beside Alex, her voice steady. "No one wants you to lead anymore, Drex. Your time is over." Drex's hands tightened into fists. He turned to his soldiers. "Take them both," he ordered. The soldiers moved in fast. Alex fired first, forcing them back. Ria grabbed a shock baton from the console and fought beside him. The small tower room turned into chaos. Blaster fire, shouting, the sharp hum of weapons. Alex knew they couldn't win a full fight. There were too many soldiers. "Ria, go," he shouted. "I'll cover you." But Ria didn't move. "We leave together," she said. They ducked behind the console as shots hit the walls around them. The tower shook as the soldiers tried to force their way in. Ria tapped on the console again. "There's a backup lift behind this wall," she whispered. "I can unlock it." Alex nodded. He fired a few more shots to keep the soldiers back. Ria pressed a hidden switch. A small panel slid open on the far wall. "Go!" Ria yelled. Alex ran to the panel and pulled Ria through with him. They slid down a narrow shaft. The soldiers tried to follow, but the panel sealed shut behind them. They landed hard on the lower level, breathing fast. Alarms were still ringing all over the station. "We have to reach the hangar," Alex said. "We're not safe yet." They moved through empty halls. The broadcast had already shaken the council. Officers and workers were running, arguing, shouting into comms. No one paid attention to Alex and Ria as they slipped through the chaos. Finally, they reached Dock Bay 47. The gray wing was still there, damaged but holding. "Get the ship ready," Ria said. "I'll send one more message." Alex didn't argue. He ran up the ramp and powered the engines. Ria stood at the base of the ship, opening a secure channel. She spoke into the mic, sending her voice one last time to every system. "This is Ria Quinn. You have heard the truth. The Void Plague is real. But there is hope. We have the technology to stop it. We will share it with all who choose to stand together, without lies, without fear. It starts today." She ended the message and ran to the ship. Alex lifted off just as more soldiers entered the dock. Blaster fire followed them again, but they broke free into open space. The ships that once blocked them did not move this time. Some even powered down. The broadcast had worked. The Council's grip was breaking. As they left Orion Prime behind, Ria sat beside Alex in silence. "What now?" Alex asked. Ria looked at him, her face calm but firm. "Now, we helped them fix what was broken." Alex nodded. He didn't know what the future would bring, but he knew one thing. The galaxy had changed forever, and this was only the beginning of something new. The gray wing floated near Earth's orbit, looking down on the once-lost home of humanity. Below them, green had started to return to the dead blue planet. Small lights blinked on the surface. New life, new hope. Alex Voss sat in the pilot's seat, watching the quiet planet below. It had been weeks since they escaped Orion Prime. In that time, everything had changed. Drexvor had tried to hold on to power, but it didn't last. The Council had fallen. One by one, systems stopped listening to his commands. Many Council leaders had gone into hiding. Some had been arrested by their own people. Across the galaxy, the broadcast had sparked something bigger than Alex ever imagined. Worlds that once trusted the Council had turned their backs on it. New alliances had formed, groups of scientists, leaders, and citizens from every race. They called themselves the Restoration Circle. Their mission was clear: stop the Void Plague and rebuild the galaxy. And at the heart of this new movement was Rhea Quinn. Alex watched her now, standing by the window of the ship, holding a small glass screen that showed the latest map of the spreading plague. Even though she had risked her life to tell the truth, she wasn't finished. She was working harder than ever. He stood up and walked to her side. "How bad is it?" he asked quietly. Rhea sighed. "Worse than I hoped. Better than I feared. But now people are fighting back. Together." Alex nodded. He had heard the same reports. Ships were already carrying the human technology Rhea had shared. Worlds were building shield towers to push back the dark energy. Scientists were testing energy filters that could slow the spread. For the first time in a long time, people were not afraid. They were fighting for their future. Rhea turned to face him. "We couldn't have done this without you." Alex shook his head. "I was just a data runner." She smiled. "You were more than that. You saw the truth when no one else did." Alex felt something shift in his heart. For years, he had run from place to place, carrying other people's secrets. But now, he had found something worth staying for. "What about you?" he asked. "What happens next?" Rhea looked back at the planet below. "I go back home. I help rebuild Earth. I teach the next generation how to stop the mistakes of the past." Alex stood beside her, thinking. He could leave, go back to running jobs across the stars. But for the first time, he didn't want to run. "I think I'll stay," he said softly. Rhea looked at him, surprised but pleased. "We could use your help." Alex smiled. "I know." The ship's comms beeped softly. A message from the Restoration Circle played through the speakers. New reports show shield towers active in 12 more systems. The plague is slowing. Leaders request transport teams to continue carrying supplies and technology to outer worlds. Alex glanced at Rhea. She nodded without a word. He sat back in the pilot's seat and powered up the ship's engines once again. There was still work to do. The galaxy was far from fully healed, but they had started something that could not be stopped. The lights of Earth shine brighter now, a symbol of what was possible when the truth was finally free. And as the gray wing lifted into the stars once more, Alex Voss knew one thing for certain. This time, they were not walking away.